not gonna happen. Sorry. It just seemed very nice.
No,
It's just
no, I was...
not gonna
Yep,
happen.
I know it. I agree.
All right.
I agree.
Good.
What? Oh.
I know when you shoot these movies, you overshoot. Nick gives himself a lot of material to work with. So when you saw it, are you pleased with the way it came together?
Absolutely. I was so pleased. I was so proud and excited and relieved. I'd been nervous about the accent and just wanted to hear how that sounded. And you're never sure. Like you said, you shoot so much. You shoot so much. And I was just so excited to see how much made it into the movie. I was really proud.
I get the feeling that Nick really loves not just the leads in his films, but everybody in his films. And he really writes them deep.
Absolutely, absolutely. Every character. And this is a movie with a lot of characters. And it's like, you meet Tom's parents briefly, and then later you kind of learn this other stuff about them, and that kind of informs why Tom is the way he is. And they really think it through all across the board. You're right. And Nick is a great director in that way and sets the tone on set in that way that nobody is more or less important, and when you're doing this kind of improv stuff, it's like you just want to find the funniest variable in any scene at all times. So you try so many different options. I can only imagine the editing process that they go through. That seems like the worst thing to me.
It's lovely sort of the mini movies that are happening within them. Like you and Chris Pratt really have your own film that could have been made, which is almost its own romantic comedy.
The Accident.
Yeah, yeah, like that could be its own standalone film just based on how rich they've made it.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's a testament to how well Nick and Jason wrote the script and how much care was put into all these characters, and then we came and felt the same way and wanted to put in this backstory. And it's interesting doing so much improv that even the stuff that gets cut really informs some of the other scenes. There were scenes that Chris and I did in the hospital after I'd given birth to the kids, and in which we would go through these long scenes where we would fight and then make up and then fight and then make up again. And it's like, even though they're not in there, I can see in other scenes how like we learned about our characters then, and they take this whole journey. And it is cool on a movie like this too, because it takes place over 5 years and you get to see these characters at the beginning of the film. And look, me and Chris, I think our characters were kind of a mess the whole time, but they suddenly really get their act together.
Well, it's the fact that they make sense of it. They make sense of that mess, which I think is...
Yeah. They don't fight it.
I think that's one of the most important things that the movie says, is that there comes a point where you just have to stop planning and start doing. Yeah, it's... And I've got to commend you on the accent. I know that it's... It's either or. Either Emily loses the accent, or you as the sister have to gain it. And and it's very specific. You are doing her.
Yes.
Yeah.
You picked up on that. Yes, well, because I had been working on a British accent prior to doing the film, and then once I got on board, I was just all Emily Blunt all the time. I was just watching her movies, and I had tapes of her and would kind of stalk her on set, and really was mindful to make it sound like her, because there's nothing worse than just having like a random generic British accent in something, and I thought it's so much better, it makes it so much more personal for them to sound like sisters, and even the cadences to her.
Well, exactly, since they're regional, since they tend to be so regional, it makes perfect sense that you would really focus in on that.
Yeah.
And nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah.